Alright, so you've been working on your project locally for the past few weeks, and now things are getting serious. It's not just merely a Hello World app anymore, but it's actually evolved into something awesome, and you want to share it with the world. In this short drill, we will look at how to push your local project that's currently not hooked up to any remote repository to GitHub. We will look at creating a new GitHub repository and hooking that up to your local project so that you can create branches, make commits, and push, and ultimately share your code with the world. Now brace yourself, because things are getting serious. Okay, so here we have a simple project that we want to start pushing to GitHub. It has two modules. It has an entry point file. It installed some dependencies, some node modules. Has a package log file, and we want to push all this into GitHub so that we can share it with the world, because things are getting serious now. So initially, when you run some sort of git command here, it's not going to work because this is not a Git repository right now. In order to do so, we need to navigate to the GitHub documentations page. So open up GitHub. Once you log in, click this on the right hand side. Go to help. Now let's search for an article that addresses this. So search for add existing project. And if you navigate down, this is the article that we're interested in. Adding an existing project to GitHub using the command line. Let's follow this step and then upload our local project to GitHub. But first, create a new repository on GitHub. I'm going to open up GitHub again. So you can do that by clicking this plus button here and then click on new repository and give it a name. I'm going to just name it existing project. I'll just leave it as private. You can give a description. Pushing local project to GitHub. Demonstration. You can add a readme if you want. You can add gitignore if you want, but I'm just going to create it as an empty project, which is going to have nothing. So there we go. It creates the project or the repository remotely on GitHub. So we're going to actually copy paste this right here. This is the URL to your project, which we'll use later on. Let's move on. So open git bash. So in VS Code, I just opened git bash. Change the current working directory to your local project, which is this. Initialize the local directory as a git repository. So in here, I can run the git init command and pass in the branch name that this is going to be. I will just use master. The documentation says main here, but I'll just use it as master for now. Git init b master. There we go. Now VS Code gives us a warning. Has too many active changes, the ESLint. Only a subset of Git features will be enabled. Would you like to add node modules to gitignore? Yes. So you want to add the node modules into gitignore because the node modules folder, there's a lot of different files. So this is all the libraries that you're using, that your project is dependent on. And you don't need to add this specific library files, the source files into your project because the package.json defines all the dependency and the package.lock defines the versions that you're using. So, you know, when you do npm install or yarn install, it's going to install the same node module. So there's no reason to add all of the libraries, your node modules library into GitHub. It just bloats your repository. So it added a gitignore file and it's going to ignore every single folder and file in the node modules folder. Highly recommend you to follow these steps. Let's move on. So we initialize the project and now Git actually is going to start working. You can do Git status, you can do like a Git log, which it doesn't have any logs because there is no commit. So we're going to add a first commit to commit all of our files. So git add current directory. So what this does is it added all of the files and staged them to be committed. So the ESLint file, the ignore file, the index, the entry point, and the to module, and your settings, your package.json settings. And here we're gonna commit with a commit message. Let's say first commit. Now, if you do a git log, you see that now we have a commit here. But if you navigate your server or your GitHub, there is no files. We're refreshing, but doesn't see anything. It's because we didn't push our branch. We didn't push our repository. So what we need to first do is we need to hook up this repository to your local project. And in order to do that, here is the magic command: git remote add origin. Git remote add origin. So this defines the origin repository as the one that you just created. So this existing project, which is defined by the URL. So now once you run this command, your system knows that origin points to your GitHub remote repository. And you can verify that by running this command: git remote v. Now it's going to print out the origin represents this. Your origin represents this for fetch and pushes. Now moving along, once that's done, you can basically push to your remote repository. And that command is right here. Git push origin. And because I created my master branch, or I created the branch name as master, I will push to master on the remote repository. Once this completes after you put in your password, there we go. It now pushed the master branch upstream. So when we refresh our repository, we're going to now see code. There we go. Looks beautiful. The master branch has all the files that we committed. And let's just verify the commit history by clicking on this on the right hand side. First commit 7AEB. And let's verify that if that's indeed the commit that we just made. Yes, 7AEB. So this is the commit that has been pushed. And from here on, you can do whatever you need to do. Let's, for example, create a branch. Let's create the staging branch off of the master branch. So we created that staging branch locally, and now we can push upstream staging. There we go. So it pushed our staging branch upstream, and we can verify that by going back to our repository, refresh this page, go to code, refresh this page, and then we can verify that staging has indeed been pushed. So now all of your Git functionalities will work. You'll be able to push, pull, fetch, create branch, or do whatever you need to do. So that's pretty much it for this. So once your code is starting to get serious, start pushing to GitHub. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Alright, if you guys enjoyed that video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Wait, how come am I doing this? Like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment. Okay, I'm done.